Was it just chance that, out of everyone, in a world of 8 billion, you crossed paths with that one person, the one who shattered the rhythm, cracked something open and walked away like it was nothing? Or was it always written? Every step you took, every silence, every delay, every almost, threaded into a pattern you were never meant to see, a web you never chose, but walked into anyway. No one arrives by accident. Some come to lift you, some to break you. Some appear in a glance but leave an echo that never dies. And some stay, only long enough to remind you what you're still missing inside. Every meeting is a message wrapped in flesh, a whisper through time, a knock at the door of the soul, soft but loud enough to wake something buried. You call it coincidence, but the universe never speaks that softly. It doesn't shout, it doesn't explain, it sends people. And then it waits for you to understand. Some people arrive like a quiet knock. They don't stay long, but they leave something open, a door, a scar, a memory that flickers at 2 a.m. Others come like storms, loud, uninvited, breaking everything you thought was safe. And when they leave, you're no longer who you were. They don't come to complete you, they come to crack you, to bend your spine in the weight of grief, just enough for you to finally stand straight again. Some lift, some test, some arrive as comfort, some as mirrors, showing you the parts you refuse to look at. A friend who stayed when silence was your only language. A stranger whose words hit deeper than years of noise. A lover who left without goodbye, but gave you a lesson that never left. They weren't accidents, they were blueprints, placed at exact coordinates by a force you'll never fully name. And the truth is, you needed every single one of them. Even the ones who hurt. Even the ones who made you forget how to breathe. So you'd finally learn how to come up for air. Not everyone is meant to walk with you forever, but everyone is sent for a reason, a season, a single sentence that changes everything. So when they leave, don't ask why. Ask what they came to show you and thank them, quietly. Some people leave, but something of them stays. A laugh you still hear when a song plays. The shape of their absence burned into the seat beside you. The way they made you feel seen, even when they never really looked. Time doesn't erase them, it just reshapes the wound. One day it stings, the next it sings, and then silence. But even silence remembers. There are names you haven't said in years. But if someone whispered them in the dark, your chest would still tighten. There are faces you forgot how to draw, but your body still reacts when someone walks like them, pauses like them, hurts like them. The memory isn't always visual. It's muscle, it's nerve. It's in the breath you hold when you pass the place you last saw them. The ones who left with kindness, left softness in you. A gentler gaze, a better version of how to hold. The ones who left without a word, taught you how to listen to what wasn't said, how to find meaning in empty chairs, how to sit with it and not break. They left marks. Not all were cuts, some were carvings, deliberate, deep, made so you would never forget. Even the ones who didn't stay long, they left fingerprints on your stillness. They showed up during storms or became storms themselves. They didn't promise forever, but they gave you a moment that stretched eternity inside a minute. And somehow that was enough. You think you've let them go, but you still glance at the crowd, half hoping to see them again. Not to bring them back, just to know they were real. You still write like they're listening. You still walk like they're watching. You still love like you're proving something to their ghost. But maybe that's the point. Maybe they weren't meant to stay. Maybe they were meant to strike, to wake, to mark. So the next time someone asks who made you this way, don't answer. Just breathe. And remember, every person who touched you left something behind. A lesson, a bruise, a light. And you carry it quietly. They leave, suddenly, slowly, sometimes without warning, sometimes with silence that says more than goodbye ever could. And it hurts, because they felt permanent until they weren't. But what if that's not a mistake? What if the exit was part of the message? The Stoics called it amor fati, to love fate, not just accept it. To embrace the leaving as much as the arriving, because impermanence isn't punishment, it's communication. It's how the universe speaks, not through words, but through absence, through endings, through the space left behind. People don't always walk away because they stop caring. Sometimes they leave because the lesson is over, because their part in your chapter has been read, and now the page must turn. They came when you needed them. They left when you no longer did, even if it didn't feel that way. That's the paradox. You grow, but only through loss. You awaken, but only after the silence. Some connections are meant to fall apart so you can finally meet the part of yourself that was never dependent on them. The ones who stayed too short, they were mirrors, meant to show you what was missing inside, meant to stir the waters, not to calm them. And the ones who hurt you most, they were catalysts, sent not to destroy you, but to dismantle the version of you that clung too tightly, needed too much, broke too easily. You can fight it, cling, BG, scream into a night that will not echo back. Or you can listen. You can stop asking why did they leave and start asking what did they unlock in me? Because every departure is a clearing, a space carved open for something else to begin. Growth doesn't knock, it breaks in. And sometimes it wears the face of someone who no longer calls. You'll want to rewind, to return, to stitch the old world back together. But what you really need is to watch it fall and not flinch. That's where freedom is, not in holding on, but in becoming the kind of soul that can carry absence with grace, the kind that knows nothing stays, but everything leaves something. And that is not tragedy, that is design. The tighter you hold, the faster it slips. Love, people, moments you thought would stay, you tried, didn't you, to keep them, to convince them, to hold it all together with cracked hands and quiet desperation. But they were never yours. Not really. Because people don't belong. They arrive, they intersect, and sometimes they leave. That's not betrayal, that's nature. The Stoics knew possession is illusion, control is fantasy, and clinging is the beginning of suffering. When you grip a flame, you don't keep the light, you burn your hand. And yet we hold. We beg silence to speak. We chase shadows through locked doors. We write forever on people who were only meant to teach us how to let go. You thought they were the destination. They were the detour. You thought they were the cure. They were the wound, meant to show you where you still bleed. Letting go is not giving up. It's knowing when to stop bleeding for something that doesn't want to be held. It's recognizing you don't need to be chosen to have value. You don't need to be kept to be enough. Because the truth is brutal. Some people only come to remind you how alone you felt, even when they were standing right there. Some come to shine a light on the places you've dimmed for others. Some to leave so you can finally sit in the silence they filled and learn to breathe without them. When you let go, you stop trying to own the moment and start learning from it. You stop asking, why didn't they stay? And start asking, what part of me is afraid to be alone? Because aloneness isn't lack. It's clean space, sacred ground, a place where you return to yourself not out of defeat but reclamation. So let them go, let them leave, let the echo fade without chasing it. They were never meant to stay, they were never yours to hold. They were a wind, not a home. And you were always enough on your own. You thought they were just passing through. But they were holding something up, a mirror. Not to show you them, but to show you. You, your patterns, your fears, the wounds you thought were buried, the parts of you still begging to be seen. Some reflect your best. They arrive with softness and remind you that you are still capable of light. Others, they reflect the raw, the unhealed. They press on bruises you forgot you had and call it love. But every single one of them tells you something about yourself you didn't want to admit. The one you chased showed you your hunger. The one who lied revealed where you don't trust your gut. The one who stayed too long exposed your fear of being alone. The one who left too soon taught you how much you attached to timing that was never yours to control. They were not enemies, not angels, just glass. And you were not broken, just not ready to look. It's easier to blame, to point, to mourn what they did. But look closer. They mirrored your silence. They mirrored your giving. They mirrored your own inability to say what you really meant. No connection is random. No pain is hollow. They came to reveal, to return the pieces you keep trying to hide from yourself. Sometimes they showed you your depth, sometimes your need, sometimes your emptiness disguised as love. You thought you were learning them. But all along, you were being shown everything you needed to face in you. So now the choice isn't about them. It's not about whether they come back or whether they ever understood you. The choice is whether you'll use what they showed you to become someone worth meeting again. Wiser, quieter, stronger. Not because of what they gave, but because of what they reflected. They were a mirror. But you are the one who must decide what to do with the image. Let it haunt. Let it shape. Let it guide. But never let it be ignored. Some people come just to remind you what you've always had, but forgot to claim not their love, not their approval, but your own wholeness. You think they completed you, but what if they just reflected the part of you that was always there, waiting to be seen? You loved how they looked at you, but maybe that's because you didn't know how to look at yourself. You loved how they stayed, because deep down, you never gave yourself permission to. But they were never the light. They were just a spark meant to show you where to strike the match inside your own hands. The Stoics never chased permanence. They chased stability within. Because everything else, the chaos, the loss, the silence, was inevitable. But peace was always a choice. It's not found in someone's presence. It's found in how you breathe when they leave. You thought love meant holding on, but maybe real love is what remains after the holding ends. The way you speak to yourself in the dark, the way you hold your own sadness, the way you rise without applause. Maybe they came to bring you back to you, to strip away the noise, to burn the story, to leave you standing in the middle of nothing familiar. And realize you are still here, not because they stayed, but because you did. Not because they healed you, but because you finally stopped waiting to be saved. Let that be enough. Let yourself be enough. You don't need their hands to feel whole. You don't need their name to feel real. You are not the absence they left. You are the flame that kept burning after they were gone. They were the reminder. You are the return. No one arrives by accident. They're sent by time, by pain, by a version of you asking to be reborn. They don't stay. They don't have to. They leave you with something heavier than presence, a shift, a scar, a seed. And when they're gone, you're not the same. That was the point. They didn't come to save you. They came to wake you, remind you this life isn't random. It's precise, it's brutal, it's sacred. And you were meant to feel it all.